So I was invited to do a collaboration quite a while ago, and I've done Winston, or I started doing Winston, so I just wanted to film what I've still got left to do, just so you can have a bit of a look at what I do with it.
So the thing that I've made was actually made with, or the start of him was made with modelling chocolate. He has been sat for 2 years, so it has seen much better days, but now I'm looking at it after all this time. I think I need to cut some off, so I'm just using a craft blade to kind of trim down bits. Really where he's just not all needed. We're going to cut bits off. You'll see there's Rice Krispie treats on here, and actually underneath this thing, guys, it was a bust. So instead of starting completely from scratch, it was a steampunk bust that I made in a Carla Pudge class. So it had a lady's head underneath, and I kind of cut the face off. You can see the burgundy colour at the back from her hair. And I'm just working over the top of that. I'm trying to reuse a lot of old materials and stuff on this one because it's not going to be eaten. It's just for display. And really just for the collaboration that I was doing. So, like I say, I'm going to try and use just bits that I've already got open in the cupboard, reuse what I can, just to try and avoid as much wastage on this one. So I'm just putting on a triangle modelling chocolate for the nose. He did have one. I think there wasn't quite enough room to add him a pair of glasses later, because he does wear glasses or spectacles. So I'm just moving this nose a bit further down the face. It's kind of like a heart shape with a couple of little indentations in. And it's not really a full tutorial, this one, guys, so apologies that I'm not giving you full in-depth tuition on what to do. It's more just so you could see roughly what kind of bits and pieces I did. So I'm just using modelling chocolate to pack back out sort of the tops of his eyebrows. So I cut off lower than the eyebrow area, and now I'm adding sort of higher up on the face and anywhere that I want to kind of come out a bit more. So I think that top lip needs to come out a bit more, just smoothing it down with my little cat tongue tool. It's just like a rubber-ended tool, but it's good for smoothing parts together. And then also just putting tiny pieces of paste in areas where I've got little gaps, indentations. Now, he's very patchy. I don't want you to worry about the fact that he's very patchy, because this is not the outer layer of him. We're going to go over the top, but I am going to try and smooth him out, get him to the shape that I want first, and then we're going to cover over the top. So I'm just going to bulk out under his chin. I apologise, the dog is snoring quite loudly in the background, so I don't know if you guys can hear that or not. It's not just my heavy breathing, it is the dog. I'm going to bulk up the shoulders. He needs to be nice and bulky around the shoulders. He doesn't really have like a thin neck like a human would have, I don't think anyway. So if you're not sure what this guy's from, he's a character from Overwatch, which is a computer game. And you might have seen I did one of the other characters. Again, it was for a cake collaboration organised by the same person that organised this one. And I'll put details of the cake collaboration below the video, below the YouTube video as well, so you guys can see that. But yeah, I did trace her last time. And I have a short video on her. Again, it's not a full tutorial. It's just little snippets of what I did on her. And she just sits in my little lunch area at work on the shelf. So I'm trying to cover all the Rice Krispie treats. This modelling chocolate, guys, that I'm actually using here is what I have left over from when I did the scent-off at Cake International. Now, I don't know if you guys remember me doing that. It was the other year at Cake International, and I made modelling chocolate with calibre chocolate. And these are all leftover bits that I still have from it because I didn't want to throw them away. Just using the rolling pin to try and roll it on, smooth it out a little bit. Now, there's quite a lot of paste on this one. I am having to fill quite a few gaps. I should have maybe started with a bigger piece of polystyrene, but like I say, I just wanted to reuse things that I already had, and I thought by starting on a bust that I already had. Now, I should have showed you a picture of the bust before I started, but it was such a long time ago that I started this one that I forgot to film all the beginning bits. So I'm just bringing out his cheekbones a little bit more because I don't think I had enough definition on them. I've tried to make mine a slightly more realistic version of a gorilla than what Winston is, because Winston's very cartoony. But I didn't want to go too realistic either. So he's kind of a cross between the cartoon version of Winston and a more realistic one. I want to darken the teeth a little bit. I'm using a fractal food pen. So no one's eaten it, but it is still an edible pen that I am using. I'm just darkening around the ends of each tooth, or the sort of the bit that comes and meets with the gum. And then with a damp brush, I'm just putting a bit of water on, not too much. I'm blending out the black so it's a little bit more shaded. And I am sorry, the dog is snoring a lot today. Now, for covering the face, I've gone for kind of like it was like a bluish grey that I made here. And this is white modelling chocolate mixed with a little bit of fondant to get the colour that I wanted. I don't know if on the video it actually looks slightly green. And I'm just going to rub it down gently. And this is where I can see when I put this on that I haven't actually smoothed the face very much underneath. And really I wanted to smooth that face more than I have done. But I think by the time we're finished, it should be okay. I'm going to cut out little holes for the eyes and also where the mouth is, because we need to reveal the eyeball, the teeth, the gums. And you can see I've pressed in around the nose area as well, so giving more definition on the nose that was underneath. And this is just a comb with water, guys. Let's give a bit more definition around sort of the eyes, anywhere that want wrinkles. So I'm just using a little modelling tool to kind of press in deeper lines everywhere. And I don't know if you can see or not, but I put a little bit of skin texture on like the forehead and some of his cheeks. It only shows in certain lights, so it's not too obvious. And I just used an orange and rolled that on the surface of the skin. And let's start to add a little bit of colour. So I'm just using edible dusts now. I'm going to put pink in the nostrils and a little bit around like the gums and the inside of the lips. And then we're going to darken the face a bit. So I'm using just a bit of black, and I've even added a tiny bit of purple powder into this. And we're just dusting this all over. Now, I've used a mix of the rainbow dust food colours and fractal food colours, or the food dusts for this one, as well as the fractal pens. So I'm really wanting to darken any areas that look like they're going to be in the shadows. It just gives him a bit more depth. It kind of makes the skin texture that I've put on with the orange disappear a little bit, but it's fine. I think he needs some shading on his face. And then swapping to modelling paste, I'm going to make him some glasses. So I'm just going to roll it out. It's actually a blue modelling paste that I've got here. I'm using the Renshaw's Flower modelling paste for this one, just because it's going to dry really hard. My modelling chocolate won't dry as hard as this will. So we're cutting 2 strips, and I'm going to kind of make rectangle-ish shapes for his glasses. Now, I actually have a pair of glasses that would have been perfect for this, that I'm supposed to wear that never wear. But I don't know where I've put them. Otherwise, I would have just stuck my glasses on Winston's face. It would have saved me the time of making them, because I find glasses really awkward to make, and they're also quite fragile and break fairly easily. So we'll leave those just drying down there while we carry on bulking out the face. And it's always good to take a step back and look at your figure to see where you think things are missing or where it's lopsided. He definitely is lopsided, but I wanted his facial expression to look like he's kind of pulling his lip up more at one side, kind of snarling a little bit and a little bit angrier looking. And then we're going to start adding some hair. I probably added a bit too much, more than I needed, but it's fine. I like the effect of it. And I'm just putting like sausages of paste on. And the paste I'm using now is actually the modelling chocolate, again mixed with some fondant. So I've got blue, black fondant mixed with some brown modelling chocolate. And we're just sticking it on in small pieces. I'm just pressing a piece fairly flat as well, so that if there's any gaps under the hair, especially sort of around the side of the jaw, we just see through to like a darker colour. So he does have a lot of paste on him, this one. That's why I wanted to try and use either bits that were in my cupboard that were out of date, or things that were just left over from previous projects, because I didn't want to open loads of new things for this. I did actually have to open a pack of black because I'd run out of black. For the back of the head, I'm gonna try and speed things up. So rather than doing lots of individual sort of bits of hair like I've done around his chin and his jaw, we're just gonna put some paste on, and we're just gonna draw lines in that to make it a little bit easier for us. He's gonna have like this, I don't know what it's called. You can tell I'm not a big gamer, guys. Whatever his, I'm gonna say uniform. It's not uniform, is it? His armor, maybe. We're gonna put paste on here, and this is actually white chocolate mixed with a bit of white fondant and then a little bit of black fondant as well on there. And I'm gonna have to use some paper, I think, to draw out roughly the shape of the bits of the side of his headpiece, because I'm finding the shape very difficult. So let's draw it out roughly, and then I can use that as a template to cut out around the paste. And I'm gonna want 2 of these, one for each side. And I've got a little bit of detailing on. I'm not gonna put too much detailing on them now, and I'm not convinced I've got them exactly like what they're supposed to be. And I'm just going to press these on nice and firmly. I've got a little bit of water to just attach it in place. I'm going to cut out a circle. And then I'm going to add a circle back into that space that I've kind of cut out. Let's concentrate on covering the back of his head a bit more. I've not gone all the way down to the bottom, because I think some of his armour will cover that. And we're just going to draw in lots of lines. I'm just using my Dresden tool for this, guys, just to create a bit of a fur effect. And I'm wanting the fur on the back of his head to look a little bit shorter than the pieces that I put around sort of his chin and jaw. And then we'll add some individual pieces as we get closer to the front of the head, just so it looks a bit more realistic hair-like. Not that it looks realistic, but you know, there's more volume in it. It's a bit more 3D. So let's stick those in there. I've made like individual little clumps or clusters of his hair. Now all this underneath bit, I just really want to put some black fondant on. You can mix it with a bit of modelling chocolate just so it's got a bit more flex to it as well. I haven't decided yet if this bottom bit's just going to be left out or if I'm going to add more detailing to it. But I'm just adding some big pieces now. So this is why I wanted to try and just use leftover stuff, because it's got a lot of paste on it. So it was easier for me to use old pieces of paste. And then we've got some white that's going to go around his front. And I've got a strip of black all the way under the white as well. I don't know if that shows very well on here. And I'm going to try and press it on up to sort of the shoulders. It's a little bit wide, so we're going to cut that down a bit here. Now this is actually fondant this time, guys, so not modelling chocolate. And it's because I wanted a white colour. You can obviously mix food colouring into white chocolate to make it a little bit whiter. But for this, the fondant was fine. So we're going to cut another piece with like some shapes. I'm not sure how to describe these shapes. And we're going to press it against that last piece. And again, I haven't got this exactly the same as what his actual outfit looks like. I find it quite difficult to recreate, so I just went with roughly similar. Hopefully it's okay. Hopefully he's still recognisable. And then I'm just going to paint up all these pieces of his headgear. So I'm going for like a silver. This is an edible powder that I've mixed with some dipping solution. Some silver on the little bits on the end of his earpieces. I keep thinking the headphones, but I don't think they're headphones, but I could be wrong. You guys can tell me what they are. Especially if you play Overwatch, you probably know a little bit more about the character than I do. Let's add a bit more detail with an edible pen. And then let's add some shading now with our edible powders. The shading really is what I think makes it look a little bit nicer. Because I've not managed to get these overly neat straight lines and perfect circles are not a strong point for me, guys. Let's just decorate his outfit a little bit. So I'm just using the edible pens for this. And I've tried to make it look a little bit dirtier by kind of just rubbing the brush that had some black powder left in it just on his outfit as well. Let's just make sure we do the same on both sides. So just dusting it up, almost finished now. And guys, I'll put links below the video to where you can find the collaboration with everybody else's work that was part of the Blizzard Entertainment collaboration. So it was a cake decorating collaboration, so many talented cake decorating artists joined this and they all did their own character, and I chose Winston as mine because I thought he would sit nicely with the tracer that I did last time. Excuse the mess in the background, guys. There he is with his glasses on. So there he is. He's not quite the same as the actual character. There he is with Tracer. Hope you enjoyed the video, guys. Thank you ever so much to everybody that has subscribed to my channel. Don't forget to click like and subscribe for more videos weekly. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, be sure to hit the thumbs up button and leave me a comment below. You can see more of my tutorials by clicking on the images on screen now. If you haven't already, make sure you click the subscribe button to stay up to date with my future tutorials. There are also links in the description box below where you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and more.